August 14th, we'll call the Citizens Advisory Committee meeting together, of the City of Bel Air Beach. So first of all, call to order, then roll call. So I'll go ahead and take the minutes today. I'm here, Ron Saganek, Tom Elliott, here, Mark Goldman,
Here.
Rob Risberg,
Here.
and Tim Hollick is not. So let's draw a line. Okay, can I get an approval of the agenda?
I move to approve the agenda.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. Can I get approval of the July 31st, 2025 Citizens Advisory Committee meeting minutes, with the only note being that Mr. Hollick was not present on the roll call? Anyone make a motion with that change?
Oh, I so move.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes. So now we'll turn it over to Kyle. Thanks for putting together the expanded review of the capital projects list.
Thank you. So what I did is I took a previous Vice Mayor Gunn's capital expenditures report that he put together. It was it had a lot of fields, a lot of cells in it. Tried to cut it down to some more useful cells that I thought are important for our planning purposes. And I started, when I was organizing, I just wanted to create another column that explained, what fund that project was part of. So I tried to do that on the left here, starting, because, some of them I categorize the same way as like a, replacement item of equipment or a building. But they were, either in the general fund or the capital fund, so I think it's important to just be aware of where those projects are located in what fund, even though they tend to be of the same category. So then when I was breaking them down into...
So which page are we starting with this page?
We're looking at this one, the one next.
The light yellow and green?
These are old documents.
Yeah, those are old. Kathy just printed those out for reference of where we came from.
Got it.
And that's it. So yeah, this one pager is the new document.
Got it.
So then, like we talked about, we were talking about the larger infrastructure items versus some of the equipment maintenance replacement items. And when I started looking at the infrastructure, a lot of it is roadway and bridge related, some of it's drainage. But some of it is also just we have capital projects that are just the general repairs year after year. So that's a separate actual project. So I wanted to break those out, and that's why I did the infrastructure repair category. And that categorizes the 22nd Street bridge repairs, the Harrison Avenue bridge repairs, and then the Causeway light repairs. Those periodically will go out. It is a capital projects fund that funds the county to repair the lights, but those are an as-needed maintenance items, so I just wanted to separate those out. To me, they're all obviously high importance one items. When something breaks, we gotta fix it so it's operating. So that's how I grouped that. And then I broke out the other infrastructure. I ranked these within the infrastructure category. And what I used is sorry about that. I used a 1 through 5 scale. And, I wanted to make sure I hit the full.
One being urgent?
1 would be most important,
Okay.
urgent, and then 5 would be least important. And this is just, based on these are the infrastructure projects. And if I wanted to make sure I had the 1s and I had 5s, then I wanted to use the full spectrum. So I don't want to say that, the Penny project is of 0 importance, but when I ranked it at 5, I ranked it at 5 because it's a project that it's going to be planned to come out in 2028, but we don't know what it's going to entail. And with these projects, yes, we do get reimbursement money, so it is money given to us if we do the project, but a lot of times it's not all the money, and everyone's got a different situation. So for instance, like with the undergrounding, we ended up having to spend about $1 million in the end, when it's all said and done. So it's a good project, but I put it as a 5 because it's kind of uncertain. And when you're comparing things like our drainage, our seawalls, our bridges, obviously those are way more important. So just as like my thought process of ranking these, I felt obviously the bridges were going to be first and foremost. You know, the bridges have to operate. People need to travel and get to their houses. And then followed up by the infrastructure, mainly, you know, the surfacing of the roads and the curbing. And the seawalls are in that category as well, because seawalls can't fail.
Why are these duplicated in like the bridge repair for 22nd Street?
So,
It's in red.
because one is replacement,
Yeah, okay,
one is replacement, so that would be the project saving for the whole bridge.
oh, okay, and the other
So-
one is just bridge,
That's just a general, every year.
every year recurring.
Well, I'd say it's biannual because we do biannual inspections.
I see that, yeah.
DOT.
Oh, but then so you're budgeting for both of these things for the
It's
project this
simultaneously.
time?
Yes.
Okay.
And then we expect, obviously, what has been accumulated in the repair budget at the time of replacement, that would roll, obviously, into that fund.
Gotcha.
And I mean, just again, looking at that one, every 2 years we have to spend $86,500 on it?
It's been going up. It's usually about 10 to 12,000. I've seen it creep in closer to 15 to 20,
Uh-huh.
but that's usually every 2 years. This year, we anticipate a major repair because of the scouring report that came back from the storm.
Okay.
That's why I did a highlight with 2026.
With a question mark.
Gemini is in communication with FDOT's engineers and project planners to get an estimate for what the repair needs to be done, and then compare it, if it makes most sense to repair some of it, all of it, you know, just
Gotcha.
analyze it all.
So you've got the repair for 26 and then replacement 26 with a question mark.
Right.
Based on what their findings are?
Right.
Okay.
So I'm thinking that the scouring, whatever we are gonna need to do to it is gonna be, it's gonna be significant. It's gonna be well over $100,000. So that's why I put it in the replacement budget. I think it's gonna pull more as like a major overhaul of the bridge. I don't know if it'd be a complete replacement, but that's something we need to consider in the planning.
Okay.
And that's why I kind of.
So based on that, then the council gonna make a decision to do the repair or just go ahead and replace the bridge?
Once we have all that information provided to them. Yes, that's the plan. Because it is a major purchase and we want to make sure we look at it.
I had a question on, I understand PCI is the condition index for the pavement, but
Right.
what's a COLER, C-O-L-E-R code?
Oh, that's a typo. It's supposed to be OR.
Okay.
And then it repeated.
I looked it up online.
PCI forgot the color code.
Well, it's funny, it corrected it to color, because there's no COLER in the, who knows, I thought maybe you had some of your own terminology.
That's staring at the stuff.
And was there ever any discussion about, because of the shortness of those bridges, replacing with a pre-constructed bridge that you just drop in there?
I want to ask.
And with, they make them out of all kinds of durable materials now, or it could even be two-piece precast bridge. Crane comes in, a 200-ton crane comes in, picks up the two sections, it meets, and you're done. All you gotta do is prepare the seawalls on both ends.
That might be more cost effective.
Just to look into that.
Yeah.
Or a fabricated one.
Is it the technology that the state used when they had to get the
Down-
Sanibel Causeway back
Yes,
open?
that's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah, they put in some of that stuff and then backed the truck up and dumped it, but we wouldn't need to do that. We just need to secure the bollards, the bolt works on both sides.
How big a gap is that?
The bridge is over 25 feet, which
Yeah.
requires it to be inspected by a DOT program.
But it's not much more. It could be 35
Just
feet,
so-
something like that.
It's
Yeah.
got to be in our reports.
Yeah,
I've walked it enough times, I have no clue.
Yeah, I mean, it's
I'm
not.
sure they have a
I'm trying to
specific
think.
way to.
we take kind of 40-foot flatbed trailer fit in there? And that's how you
It'd be
measure.
longer. The trailer would be
The
longer.
trailer will be longer than so it's not 40 feet.
I was just thinking, what does it take to replace that? But what you're talking about makes sense.
Yeah,
I mean, you could get a,
Prefabricated.
I think a 12-meter gap, you know, like the Army has got.
The Army Corps does that all the time.
Yeah, but you've got, I mean, portable AVLB,
Yeah,
armored vehicle launch bridge, right?
Yeah.
Thing rolls up and drops it over a 12-meter.
yeah.
So there must be the civilian equivalent
Yeah.
of those things.
Well, something-
Gotta be, for like these types of situations.
Something that we could-
Have 'em.
Fabricate each end, and then you just set it down in
Right.
there and secure it in there.
Hmm.
Just something to think about.
Is Harrison the same, or is that a little bit more?
Harrison's less.
Less?
Less expensive
Shorter.
by a lot.
Oh, gee.
Yeah.
Okay, so,
Sorry, another question. How often is the PCI and who determines it?
so this is from the last go around, which started, I wanna say 2020. So my intention was, once we're all the way through that full index, that we would redo a pavement index.
You have civil engineers that actually.
No, this was done, in-house with, mobile app software.
Oh, all right. Save some money, good, all right.
It's a good program.
All right, thanks.
And when I say the color codes, you know, when we had our original scoring, which was 0 to 100, we broke them off, you know, how they, like the worst ones, you know, were a very dark red, and then we kind of worked through them. And the goal with the last combined stormwater project that we're getting to the end of was to get all the way to these streets and getting rid of all those red, oranges, and the really bad ones. And this is where we end up, so I wanted to continue to keep the order of our index in our planning process, but I wanted to point out, you know, our current savings for street resurfacing is $75,000 per year. So when I recalced my, I kind of created just a spreadsheet to calculate our paving costs based on what I'm seeing. For the remainder of these streets, for the resurfacing, if we're doing the same mill resurface 1 inch that we did for this past project, we're looking at about $525,000 to finish the index, to get through that dark green color. That's the reason at the current funding, 75 a year, by 2028 year end, that budget year will have close to enough. It'll be about 250 we'll need for that first. From it's really Hibiscus, Belle Isle, and all the side streets off Belle Isle are slotted for the 2028. They don't match up perfectly with the colors, but if you look, you'll see. That, you know, we'll need about the 250,000, so we'll be close. And that's the reason that I scheduled it out in our planning for those years. Obviously, it's flexible. It's just when I lined up the planning process, I did it to keep it in line with our savings right now. So we'd have to adjust it if we wanted to move it up sooner. As you know, Belle Isle has its issues if you drive up and down. It's got some depressions, it's got some cracking. It's not the worst road we've ever seen here, but you know.
And what, like the west part, east part of Belle Isle,
Yeah, so
Crystal Cay North?
yeah, these are all segments, but really what they're grouped by, you know, Belle Isle, Hibiscus, the rest of the Hibiscus branching off of it that we didn't do, and Howard with all the side streets off of Belle Isle. So that first one is it's a larger chunk. That's why it follows up with the following year, you know, we could get enough to kind of finish up those next group and then into the next ones.
What is, in the subcategory column here, what is 4? Second one. Harrison Avenue Bridge Repair. Subcategory
Yeah, that's just I must have had it on the cell and hit a number 4, just a typo.
So it should be bridge.
Yeah, it should.
Okay.
Start with that. Sometimes I lose where the cursor is. But I mean, in the general ranking though, you know, when you look at, you know, your bridges, then followed up by your streets and your seawalls, followed by valley curbs. I put curbs 3, just because you can have cracked up curbs, I think are a little bit more tolerable than the road being all over the place. And then citywide streetlights, only because it's really additional streetlights. We're looking to fill, you know, black areas of the city. Right now, I think we have adequate lighting. No one seems to be complaining. If we get a major problem that someone thinks that there needs to be an adjustment, then we look into it. So that's why it's kind of like not of high importance.
So when you have cracked up curves, it suggests that it's a construction heavy-duty vehicle that has caused it.
A lot of reasons. Oh, just age, settling,
Okay.
the flooding, the water, the groundwater, how it varies so much. I mean, there's a lot of things that.
I don't know how closely you monitor cracks around a construction site on the roadway and the curbing.
When they're reported or shortly after we're doing these streets, we're watching closely, but we,
Yeah,
we
okay.
don't catch everything.
So when you look at, we got a 20-year life cycle on these. Are you guys keeping track of when these streets were done last and now they're done? So in the future, we can monitor.
Yes, yeah.
But realistically, there's probably something getting done every year, right?
Yeah.
If you
That's-
run it through a cycle.
That's data that we didn't have on the first index, but now we do. That I want to add into that whole database. And it's, you know, 20 years, you know, most people for residential streets have tried to do a 15-year, but our streets have gone longer. So I'm just trying to stay consistent with what we've been doing without, you know, if we want to raise the standard, we can raise
I
the
think the
standard.
most frequent traffic is lawn equipment.
Or beach bike.
Yeah, a lot of golf carts.
And then just to get down, when I got into replacement, basically it's items that are either building or equipment related that are on a scheduled saving program to replace either the equipment in the building or replace the piece of equipment or vehicle or what have you. Or do the large maintenance item of painting the building. And then again, rank them in order of importance. The reason these ones, you know, as soon as the HVAC goes down, if we don't repair it, the building's useless in Florida. The roof obviously can't be leaking water through it. And the buoys, you know, I put that up there because it's been expressed that that beach area we want to keep safe. So I did stick that at a higher rank.
Yeah, it's,
And then we got into, you know, from there, I just went with this most essential equipment down to what, if, you know, when you're down, you know, let's see, like the F-150 is a 4, the tractor is a 4. I figured those could, if we had the cut, those could go first, you know what I mean? And I just kind of ranked them with what I felt we needed to get done. Because, you know, first and foremost, we probably need a mower if we're going to continue to mow parks. And then, you know, from there, we need a truck to do our basic work. And I just ranked them. I don't know if you can agree with that ranking. We get down to like improvements for Morgan Park. This is a 3. You know, more important than say replacing the carpet in the office area of this building. You know, we gotta have a parking lot that's you know, in good shape. So I mean, that's just kind of what I came up with for the groupings versus and the rankings. And I think it, you know, it has every project we currently have in our budget, and it groups them out in categories that they align in, and then it provides a ranking. So anytime, you know, if we can agree to this and the council can agree to this, anytime that we're kind of playing with it around on another project, that you know, we could kind of figure out where it fits in and how it would move.
Yeah, I think it's a great overall
Yeah.
schedule, right? Well, here's what the unplanned expenditures and planned, but you know, these are, you know, things that we got to think about with our capital improvement dollars.
yeah, and the ranking is important too for discussion points. People will have different opinions, and this gives you the ability to compromise okay, we'll move it to a 2 from a 4 if they want to vote on it, and, you know, something that,
Just a thought of another column to add
Okay.
would be, what is the current reserves for these? And it's, I mean, you can't,
So
We've
what I
put
tried to
through-
cover
we-
that through this year, is this year's budget passes,
okay,
as it is now, this will be what is earmarked.
so the
As
total
for those
earmark in fiscal year,
projects.
so that's
As
what's
of
in the
this budget.
reserve?
Yes.
Okay,
And at any time, like we've talked about, you know, these are, they're earmarked for this project, but at any point, the council can say, we don't like that project anymore, scrap it, and it kind of frees it all up again.
yeah, so the dollars can move from category to category.
Is, you know, down here towards the bottom, you've got beach access improvements.
I stuck that pretty low because that would be, the last time it was the overwalks,
Mhm.
and they're very susceptible to be destroyed.
Yeah.
So,
It's
not out of the question.
It just made me wonder, is there, similar to the bridges, do you need to do periodic repair of those things because they take abuse as opposed to improving?
Yeah.
Or is it lumped all together?
well, with the last ones we put in, they were finished in about 2020, halfway through, and we got, you know, until the 24, and we lost them. But up until that, they were holding together great.
Okay.
So it was unfortunate because I think they would have lasted easily 30 years without any major maintenance.
Okay.
They're all that trucks railing,
Yeah,
with some
yeah,
material.
yeah.
And now we're at a point where we don't need them. So until I was hoping if we get into a situation that the beach changes, that we do need them, that it'll be recommended environmentally and somehow we can work in something that works for us as well.
Yeah,
so remind Kyle for the citywide streetlights solar testing, 2026 is the year. Did we put 334,000 in the budget this year?
So, there's solar light, where did I put that? What number are you on?
It's the fourth one down after the repaving.
You know, that,
There it is. Okay, I got those 4. So right now, there's 334,000 saved if, through this, like if we pass this budget. That is currently what we have.
4 streetlights?
Yeah, a lot. It's been like that for a couple of years. We've been putting 50 grand a year, and right now we had it scheduled for, yeah, I guess we're getting close to 500,000. At any point we can stop. We can stop saving for it. The idea is that we are saving to at some point, and it could even be our part of doing something different on Gulf Boulevard. I mean, the last time we talked about it, it wasn't a major concern, because it's gonna cost us more money if we change the lighting out there. And, we cut down on the wires, it just didn't seem like but it could, in the future.
Well, what's good to know is that if, we determine we can do something for less, right?
Right.
These dollars can be allocated to another capital project, but the council
For sure.
approves it.
And I would say that too, a lot of money has just been sitting, 91 in Bayside Park. So what I did is, we used to have a resurfacing project, and we resurfaced the courts in 2021, and that project fell off. We've had about 91,000 in the Bayside Park savings for that, for just improvements in general, and we've had that since we talked about that grant,
Yeah.
and it's just been in there. So what I did is, when it comes to Bayside Park, if it's not gonna be a general improvement, I moved that, we do know that we're gonna have to do some work on the tennis courts. It's unfortunate because where the courts sit is an area that the groundwater disturbs the foundation a lot, so it had some major cracking. Anytime you resurface, it doesn't do very well, it cracks almost immediately. It could use an overhaul of the base, but that's a major investment. I was going to start kind of reaching out to FERDAP, that's where we got our original grant money from, and see if they can work with us on some kind of long-term maintenance. Because I
Good. That's great.
it was a $50,000 grant, but it's gonna cost us a lot more. at this
You almost
point.
need to take it all out and then put 3-4 feet of fill in there to raise it up over the
You
retention?
need to, rework the whole base so that you got a good.
Because it has to
level
be able to
surface.
drain
It has to, yeah.
and go, not just drain and stay, but drain and go away.
Because, with those grants, the way they were signed up for, you're locked into them, they want you to maintain them.
Yeah.
But when you get $50,000 20-something years ago, and now it's like 3
That
times the
would-
price to do it, or 4 times,
Right, exactly.
Come on.
Yeah. You can't even buy one for that.
You may want to add a column on the front end here just with line numbers,
Okay,
so that when you're looking for things,
yeah, that would have been helpful.
easier to
for sure.
find.
Oh, and then the marina, it's our enterprise fund, and it's because it is a profitable, fund for us. Like, I just put the one project we have to repair as a one, because, that's our duty to keep the marina. That's why I just broke that off. And then most of, every year, you get a transfer back from that account, so it's kind of like an outlier.
And what's that project? Catwalks, is that?
So it's getting saved at 15,000 a year, and right now it's gonna have 90.
But is it, if we go do it, is it actually 165,000 to redo them all?
Last time we priced it, when we were looking at overhauling all the pilings, it was about 150, getting close to 200. But yeah, that was just to do like an overhaul with like a planche, have everybody exit the slip when we needed to. I kind of talked about with the council or some council members, like, just going with a plan of if pilings fail, or get, we pull them out of the water, if they fail on boats that have lifts, because they already have their own for the lift, they don't need the tide poles, so we're not gonna just put a pole back that's not needed until it would be. So kind of seeing where we end up as we go with the marina, and like, after the storm, some things that we could look into are, if I can get some mitigation money to possibly raise our panel higher, because we had to do a full panel replacement from the storm. We'll get some money back, but, that would be a good mitigation. And, FEMA, they do provide some additional money, like, you have to replace what's damaged, but they will give you the additional money for the mitigation
To
afterwards.
raise it up, yeah.
I think the main point of this exercise, or a reason that it came up, was when we were talking about the pump project. And, where I put it was a number 2. And I put it behind the curbs and the resurfacing of the streets, because to me it's important, but it's not the very base need. I don't know. I mean, I don't know. It's important where it's at now, but I don't think it could go up anymore. But I think it's appropriate.
Well, we've already put that in the draft of the budget.
Yeah. But I think, when we talked about, the rankings, it was really to get our heads into agreeing on priorities. And then the other point I want to make is, I ran calculations, just for numbers, of the valley curb. So say if we were going to replace, with all this resurfacing, all the curb, it's a lot of money. It's about 1.5 million if we were to do that. So I just wanted that to have that number for perspective, because we save 50,000 a year. But obviously curbing concrete, like valley curbs, are expensive. They don't need to be all replaced when they're functional.
So is it
my-
1.5, so you had 525 to finish all the resurfacing,
Yeah.
and then another million or $1.5 million?
$1.5 million for concrete, and that's
Just for the curbs?
just for removal, replacement of valley curb. And I took that from our last bid, from the 2, and I kind of did an average from what I'm anticipating. So moving forward, I think we're okay with, we can stick with 50,000 a year, but we have to understand that that is gonna be kind of, when we are looking at these streets to mill, we're gonna have to, you know, get our surveys, find the low points and make the best corrections without having to redo everything. I think that's the best course.
So evaluate if the curbs need replaced or not.
What areas where they do need to replace it.
So maybe $2 million to do that.
That's just, in perspective, if we were gonna do everything, like we did this past project. But if you go to Belle Isle, those are newer streets that were undergrounded, the curbs are holding up pretty well.
So I think in conjunction with our last conversation where, you know, take cash, pay down debt, conserve cash for capital, this helps, gives a good idea of why we went through the exercise. It doesn't make sense to, we're not gonna save anything by paying debt off early
Right,
and then preserve the cash for,
because you got a lot of things. You gotta spend money.
And this shows our projects and it shows what years they can be funded with how we're funding them. So this layout right here with these years and target dates are all the current budget. So that is what we're looking at.
could Heather take this and build it into the projections? Or,
She used our current budget for the projections, so I did not change anything.
so the capital
matches.
expenditures going out in the future years match
Matches
this?
this,
Okay.
yes. Yeah.
So if I remember, there was a dip in cash. Was it 27 or 28? Then it bounced back up by the end of the 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was like the next 2 years, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Down and then it starts back
Yeah.
up. Right?
Right. And that was because of just the front loading of the bond? Was that the primary reason? I can't, just want to make sure.
Well, so like this next year too, we got to put the money out before we get it back for Penny.
Okay.
And then, so then get the Penny recoup, but I think it was, you had the HVAC and some of these big, and you had the bridge, so there was some big expenses.
Okay, yeah, so she did plan
Yeah.
that then, that's correct, okay.
But I think this is a good tool to kind of keep updated annually.
Okay.
And then, like I said, maybe even add a column in it, you know, last completed. Well, you don't have all
What
the streets on here.
What cycle of
So we
replacement
got life
is
cycle
in
2
there?
years and then, yeah, so, or 75 years for the bridge. So if you end up having to replace the bridge in 2027, then we know that, hey, hopefully we get 75 years from there
Yeah,
based on the reserves. that
you
go
can
in.
get 100, but that's just a safe number.
Yeah, no,
And that's kind of in line with, I'm guessing, close to what we're seeing now. I don't have the exact build dates on those bridges.
maybe like the HVAC. I think we've gotten, this is the original HVAC.
The air handlers are original, the condensers are, the 3 are the original, 3 of the 4. This side gets a lot more wear and tear. Yeah. And the plan with that is it's really gonna keep milking these things along. We could get 3 more years
Yeah.
and just be ready. Cause we know when it goes, we gotta be ready to act.
Yeah, but that's gonna balance out, because something that you think takes 10 years is gonna take 8 before you have it, because it breaks.
Something that takes 10 years is gonna take
Right,
15.
so over the long
Yeah.
term, it balances out.
You know, just planning, adjusting it.
So then at the bottom column, so in the total earmark fiscal year 26, what you're saying, we'll have $2.3 million in the reserves for all these projects.
Yeah, that's what I got going through all the project sheets, and I'll have Heather run her totals in her spreadsheet, she can do it.
So your plan is to take this and brief it to the council and see what changes they want to make? And then that becomes the official,
Well, yes, I'll present it as we talked about, add our recommendations and talk through the recommended thought process that we shared. And then kind of go from there, 'cause I don't know, a lot of this is because of our consideration of this pump project. So I think that it'll revert back to our planning for the pump project. Our critical things we need to find out are, our estimate for the bridge. And as well as both the bridge and the pump project, we are submitting grant applications for. I didn't put those as an alternate source of funding just because we've had low success, but at this time is looking better. Gemini has gotten these grants and it's a different program than we've tried. And a pump station is a different idea than what we were doing with the past master plan. So hopeful that we can hit that BCR and get some funding.
yeah, but I agree, don't count on it.
Even if it was 75%, that'd be huge for us.
Sure.
Yeah.
But that's just bonus.
And I mean, and that, when it comes to grant funding for a pump station, to me, that is something that I don't think we have much of a choice. That's something we're gonna have to maintain in some
Yeah.
future, just keep people
Right.
living here.
And remember, the notion was, this first one is a test anyway,
Right.
to see if it's gonna function properly.
Yeah.
And do what it needs to do.
Other parts of town that need them too.
Yeah, exactly.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the idea is this is the test. Well, we take what we learned from this as well as with our vulnerability assessment and our new master plan update to look at everything.
And is this gonna be discussed at a work session or,
This will be taken to the Monday, 25th, I believe. Not next Monday, the one after.
is that a work session?
Yes. It's a work session. It's kind of like an added workshop. I'm treating it as for further planning. And that'll be, 25th.
You guys, are we all supportive of Kyle's strategy and plan?
Yes.
Yeah.
Should I have a motion?
For the recommendation.
Yeah, I think,
Yeah,
a motion to approve the strategy of the capital project long-term outline that Kyle has put together to help us understand our capital expenses for the city over, the near term and long term, so.
And to present it to the board.
And present it
for
at a work
consideration.
session.
Yeah. I so move.
Okay.
Second.
I like this as well too because we're looking at lower values, we're looking at less ad valorem. The question's always asked where the cuts would be. This is where the cuts would be on the capital side.
Yeah,
Kind of an operating, it's pretty much wherever you can get rid of unnecessary.
right. But, one tends to, if you don't have adequate capital funding and projects, you're gonna have to, you'll be spending more money on operating.
Sure.
So it's sort of, yeah.
So, the way this is laid out, if you needed to find something to drop, can you scale several things back, or it's all or none?
Well, with equipment, you're probably gonna have to reduce. Scaling back.
I mean, you can't take 10% of everything, it just doesn't work.
No, not with capital.
Yeah.
You can reduce your level, the quality standards on what you're replacing.
Yeah, okay.
But that doesn't make sense, because then if you need to keep it longer, it isn't gonna be there for you. Because I've
It's-
heard you mention before, well, we can stretch it out, the trucks, for example, we can keep them a little bit longer, a couple more years. Well, if they weren't heavy-duty trucks, or maybe we went with a lighter
Yeah.
spec, they're not gonna be around to do that with, so.
And,
That's,
you know, the tractor, yeah, we have it as a piece of equipment that can move things, it can rake the beach, but you know, last storm, it went down after Helene and we didn't have it.
Yeah.
It was all rental equipment, so it can be done. If we have to rent it to rake the beach,
yeah.
we can do that too. And the wear and tear that these things take and the salt is just, it's horrible. It's worse now.
And have we previously looked at any subcontractors to rake the beach for us?
I have not.
Some of these lawn maintenance companies, especially the bigger ones, probably have excess equipment sitting around and they don't use it all the time, just when they get a project that needs it. So maybe they throw a guy in it and come out here once a week and do what it is. It'd be a lot less than owning it and purchasing it.
It's true.
So,
There'd be a little bit more on the, I think it'd be all right, because everything's listed on the permit, we provide the permit right into the agreement.
mhm.
And then we'll probably have to handle some calls, because, you know, we get the calls on our own people. 'Cause everyone
Well,
sends
and that's
it.
okay, but
It's
that-
fine, you know.
it's still not a capital expense
Yeah.
then, it's an operating expense.
Can you get an amphibious boat to come pull up and rake the beach behind my house?
Would you like us to remove
Swim up with
the,
a hand rake.
you want us to remove the sand?
So my lawn, I pay a guy to do that every week. So, these guys that live on the Gulf, they get it done by the city.
Yeah, well, they pay more taxes.
You got a private beach.
Private beaches, right? That's a benefit.
So, anybody have any other questions for Kyle on the capital projects?
Great job.
I don't, yeah, excellent.
Any other general business for us that we want to address or discuss? No? Okay.
I move that we adjourn.
Okay. Mark. All in favor?